Elon Musk. He says he's aspirationally Jewish. He tells this to Ben Shapiro during his, what I call, Don't Cancel Me tour. Let's start off with Elon talking at what they're calling an anti-Semitism symposium. Elon Musk traveled to Poland. He was invited to Poland to tour Auschwitz. Ben Shapiro went with him. This comes after months of Elon Musk being accused of being an anti-Semite. He had made some comments on X that people didn't like, or he retweeted things, or he made comments under other tweets. And so he was being accused of being anti-Semitic, and it caused a massive problem for Twitter/X and their bottom line, their revenue. Companies started canceling their advertisements and saying, we don't want to be associated with an anti-Semitic run website. You're not doing enough to curb hate speech. You've got all these anti-Semites on your platform. That is all ramped up even more with the war in Palestine, where there's a lot of people who support the Palestinians and who believe what the Israelis are doing is wrong. And so that type of rhetoric can be viewed as hate speech. And so there's a big push to get Elon Musk on the side of Israel. So I call this the Don't Cancel Me tour, because he's basically saying, look, I'm on your side. Don't mess with my company now. Don't come around and cancel all the ad revenue and tank. He bought Twitter, and it was a lot of money. The thing was upside down financially. It not necessarily the best investment. He says he did it really because he wanted to promote free speech. But then here we are. Now X is talking about censoring, and we're going to get to that. But first, let's play this clip. After the tour of Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro, they did this anti-Semitism symposium. He sits down with Ben Shapiro and has a conversation. They show a film. They give Elon Musk an award. But this is one of the things he said that's been trending online. He says he's aspirationally Jewish, that his name is basically Jewish, that he feels Jewish. Watch this.
Yeah, I grew up around a lot of Jewish people. I went to Hebrew preschool, Rachel Spiro in South Africa. My name is very Jewish.
I will tell you that for the past 10 years, people have assumed in my community that you were Jewish until I informed them otherwise.
Yeah.
Elon is a pretty Jewish name.
He's super Jewish.
Yeah.
And then I went to Israel when I was 13. Visited Masada. I'm certainly checking the boxes on a lot of things. Like I said, most of my friends are Jewish, just worked out that way. So sometimes I guess maybe I forget. Am I Jewish? I'm Jewish. Aspirationally Jewish.
Oh boy, really pulling everything out there that he can in order to not get canceled. Don't get canceled. After he toured Auschwitz, some of the things that he did say, he said it was incredibly moving and deeply sad and tragic that humans can do this to other humans. Excuse me, I didn't turn off my volume. That is the first step of being live on air, is silence your devices. So I wasn't paying attention. Okay. He said after touring Auschwitz, it was incredibly moving and deeply sad and tragic that humans can do this to other humans. He says, I'm still absorbing the experience. It's going to take a few days to settle in. He also placed flowers in remembrance of the victims. He showed up there with his son, and I believe Grimes. I think I saw her in one of the videos because that's his kid, I believe, with Grimes. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's the one with looks like a math equation for his name, or like a physics equation. He went on to say, let's just get on to what he actually says in this anti-Semitism symposium with Ben Shapiro. First of all, before the symposium really started, or at the very beginning of it, they showed a movie. We're going to show a little bit of it in this clip, and showing would there have been a Holocaust had social media existed during World War II. And they also present Elon Musk with a trophy or an award of some kind made out of a rocket that they say was fired at a kindergarten by Hamas. None of the children died, but just watch this whole bizarre thing.
Before we start, I just would like to express gratitude and appreciation to Mr. Musk for taking the time to join us today. In our times, we seek to see more friends, and we were appreciating very much the time you took to be with us today. And as a token of appreciation for taking the time to be with us today, if I may present something to you, please. Please. This was made out of a rocket. A rocket that fell on a kindergarten in Be'eri in Israel, and it was a miracle that kids were not killed doing this when the rocket fell. It's an artist, Israeli artist by name Yoron Bob, who take this artist and use it in order to show a message, how even rockets could become a symbol for never again. Thank you very much. It's quite heavy.
What in the holy hell is this? I mean, they're giving him a rocket, and they're saying that this was fired on a kindergarten by Hamas. It says never again on the top of this. Very bizarre, considering that in Palestine, in Gaza, the children could only be so lucky. They're being targeted with rockets by Israel, and they're not making it out alive. That's the difference. The kindergartners they've got in Israel, the Hamas rockets are not as powerful at all as IDF's artillery. They're small in comparison, homemade. They often don't do a ton of damage. People do get killed, and it is extremely, extremely tragic. I definitely think anytime civilians are killed, it's wrong. We shouldn't really be having war much anymore at this stage in society and civilization. But nonetheless, how odd to present Elon Musk, who makes rockets on his own, by the way, but to go and tour space, to give him a rocket from Hamas but watch what he does with it. It's interesting that they give this to Elon, but he doesn't actually, kind of holds it for a second, but then he gives it back and he doesn't actually take it. Let's keep watching this.
If I may just, it's written here, presented to Mr. Elon Musk in January 2024, in recognition and appreciation of your fight against antisemitism, and to mark your visit to Auschwitz from the European Jewish Association. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, it was an honor to walk with you today at Auschwitz. It's actually my first time there as well.
Sorry, maybe just have a very short video to present first, and then we
sure,
start.
go for it.
I apologize. Mr. Musk, when we were walking around Auschwitz together earlier on today, I couldn't help ask myself if the horror of the death camp could have been possible if social media was around in these days. After the Holocaust, one of the most heard sentences was, "We did not know." Today, everything is in public. Everybody is a journalist or eyewitness. Please watch how it could have been used. You have it in front of you, sir.
Okay, so this part of the film is silent for the most part. And they're just showing right here on the screen in this video, they're showing if social media existed during that time, during World War II, during the Holocaust, would people have been informed of it? And then would they have stopped it? Like, look at this one saying, "I can't believe what I just saw. The Nazis told the Jews to go inside the synagogue, entire families, infants in their mothers' arms," right? They've closed the doors and the windows, metal bars, and then they set it on fire. Oh my God, the world must know. Or here, "I had the honor to help liberate prisoners." So they're going and showing what maybe the messages would have been if the Holocaust were happening today. Again, the irony of this, considering that this is exactly what people are doing in regards to what's going on in Gaza, but it's just lost on them. So we'll keep watching here.
Millions of lives. I remember you saying AI is potentially the most pressing risk to humans. I must tell you that there is a clear and present danger of a different AI. This is anti-Semitic incitement. This is why I really wanted you to be here with us, Elon, because this AI ended up fueling the ovens at Auschwitz, empowering the trains and took the cattle trucks of Jews to be murdered.
So, this is what people are doing today. He's trying to bring up social media, if it was around during the Holocaust, people would have known, people would have maybe stopped it, people would have been outraged. It would have been no different than what is exactly happening right now in Gaza. People are seeing what's going on in Gaza. They're outraged. They're saying, you cannot do this. It doesn't matter what your justification is. The Nazis thought that they were totally justified. They thought that they were saving their society, that they were preserving their culture. They thought that they were ridding their society of a group of people who they believed was going to destroy their way of life or backstab them. They blamed the Jews for World War I. I mean, there was a whole host of reasoning in their mind as to why they were doing what they were doing. They weren't just, oh, we're evil people, so that's why we're doing what we're doing. We know it's wrong, but we're doing it anyway. Everybody always has an excuse, and they certainly had an excuse and reasoning in their mind. And there were some that said just genocidal stuff. We hear that coming from Israelis often, genocidal statements from even their highest level politicians making genocidal statements. And then there are those that say, well, no, we just have to do this for safety. There's those who don't make the genocidal statements, but they still excuse what's going on in the massacre of civilians and the massacre of civilian life, the ethnic cleansing that is going on in Gaza. They say, well, but we have to. What other choice do we have? These people want to kill us. So there's always an excuse. And so people are on social media right now. They're using X on social media, and they're exposing what's going on in Gaza. We're seeing the images in real time. We're seeing the reporters being killed at the highest rate we've ever seen reporters killed. We're watching men being rounded up naked and marched along, images that look identical to the Holocaust if you just put them in black and white, which somebody did, actually put those images in black and white and fooled their entire audience saying, these are images from the Holocaust. This is nothing like what's going on in Gaza. And people were saying, oh, yeah, exactly. These are much, much worse. And it was actually the exact same photos coming from Gaza. They just had changed them to black and white. So we are seeing what happens when social media exists during the time of an attempted genocide. We're watching that happen now. And people are saying we have to stop this. And I'm sure that the social media campaign is forcing Israel to be surprisingly and unbelievably more measured. Doesn't seem like they're very measured at all, but I'm sure they're being even more measured because of social media. So it's interesting that he's trying to say, well, social media could have saved the Holocaust, could have saved the Jews of the Holocaust. It could have prevented the Holocaust, and then not realize that that's exactly what's happening right now with the Gazans. And that's what the Gazans have been relying on. And that's why journalists are being shot dead and bombed and targeted by the IDF, because they don't want them to be displaying everything that's happening on social media. This is also why they're bringing out Elon Musk, because they know the power of social media. They know the power of people seeing these images of an entire nation of people being destroyed in Gaza. People are seeing this with their own eyes, and then they're being told, don't believe it, but we're seeing it. And then they say, don't believe it. And so what they want is Elon Musk to be on their side so that he will censor the content, so that he will prioritize the pro-Israel content and maybe downplay the Palestinian content and what's really going on in Gaza. That is why they're just doing this full court press with Elon. It's not just, and Elon's doing it, I think, in my opinion, mostly to ensure that the crazed the cancel culture, the crazed cancel culture doesn't come after him and ruin his business that he's, let's just kind of walking a tightrope with X right now, business-wise, and he doesn't want them meddling with it, canceling him, calling him an anti-Semite, and turning everyone against him. The way, I was just going to say the way that they did with Kanye West, but Kanye said a lot of crazy stuff. So, a totally different situation. But, it can be career ruining. If they do say that you are an anti-Semite, even if you haven't made anti-Semitic comments, but they're interpreting the things you've said as anti-Semitic, then yeah, it could be career ruining. It could be business ruining, empire ruining.